Good morning. We are having coffee and I'm going to see if I can share this now. All right. What's happening? All right. I think we're going live on the page and live in the Womb Wisdom portal. What fun. Let's see how that works. Good morning. We're having coffee. My third cup of coffee and the astrology reading. And I wish Facebook wouldn't tell me all these things. It's sending all these crazy notifications. I know I'm live. I'm here. So we are here at 9:30 in the morning, only it's a little bit later than that. I confess to having a mini meltdown because I couldn't find my lipstick. And I'm running around the house saying, I had it in my hand 2 minutes ago and I didn't know where it was. And it's like, I'm going live. How can I go live without my lipstick? It's the only time I dress up anymore, which is not exactly true. I will go live without dressing up. So I found the lipstick. I put it on and you can't even tell because it's kind of like lip-colored lipstick. But that's what happens when you decide to do an astrology reading for the public first thing in the morning. I wanted to get this new moon reading out to you before the actual new moon, which is at 2:06 p.m. Eastern Time here in Searsport, Maine, where I am reading from. And already, watching the online world, the Facebook groups, my own self, I can feel that this is a new moon that is pressure. When I sent out my newsletter a couple of days ago, the message that channeled through me was, when you feel the squeeze, you crave ease. And I didn't even associate it with the new moon squeeze. But what's happened inside of me and the way that Spirit has been moving me and helping me dig up stuff, it's very clear that this is all related to this new moon. And take a look at this. I'm going to show you a picture of Aquarius. The sun is in Aquarius at 23 and change. What is that? 23:17. And the moon is in Aquarius at 23:17. That's right here. Because that's what a new moon is. It is an exact conjunction of the sun and the moon. But there are 8 other planets in Aquarius. Most of them there in the 8th house, although we're not going to really make a big deal about the 8th house right now for this reading. So it starts Chariklo, Saturn, and then we have these pairs of planets dancing. They are waltzing or swing dancing or, I don't know, contact improving together all the way across Aquarius. And the pinnacle is the new moon, and it's carrying all this energy of Jupiter and Venus at 12 and Lilith asteroid and Mercury at 16 and Hecate and Pallas Athene at 21. And the interesting thing is all of these planets are direct except for Mercury. Mercury is retrograde. And so for a week, Mercury has been weaving its way back through Aquarius, and it is touching all of these points. So whatever these points stand for in the collective and in your personal astrology, Mercury is saying, pause, take a look, dig deeper, don't move on until you've looked at this and extracted what you need. And the fact that they've been, it's almost like, is anybody here contra dance? Contra dancing, you're constantly changing partners up and down the line. And that's what the planets in Aquarius have looked like the last few weeks, or few days, because most of these asteroids move pretty quickly. Venus moves pretty quickly. Mercury moves quickly. The sun and the moon move quickly. And they have just been pairing up all along with everything else. So if we were watching it, say, for 3 weeks, really, since the sun entered Aquarius, and then for the last 2 days since the moon entered Aquarius, or the last 24 hours, then you would see all of this weaving and dancing. So that work, that Aquarian work with all these planets carrying that vibration of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, which is active, will remain active for at least a solid year, if not a generation. This is all squeezing us right here, right here. It's taking that energy and just going, and there are other things that are doing the squeeze as well. This is what the general chart looks like. So we've got a big square and lots of sextiles and a couple of big squares. And then this opposition to Vesta, and I'm going to talk about all that. One thing I encourage you to do is to find out where all this Aquarian action is in your own chart, your natal chart. And you can do that by plugging your information in at astro.com if you have a basic understanding of astrology, or you can book a reading with your favorite astrologer. And I am available. My February spots, I basically forgot to announce them. So I have space in February for you if you want to do this now. Just drop me an emoji or something in the comments and let me know. And we will get you hooked up with that. Your very own Divine Feminine Astrology reading, so you can see what's going on with you. So this happens to be my third house, and I don't even know what that means because I haven't taken time yet to really look at it. Although I do have a lot of planets in Aquarius in my third house. And the other big squeeze, there is a square between the other crowded sign is Taurus. Taurus has 5 planets in it. And so when I was trying to draw it, I kept drawing things to the wrong planet. So Mars is in Taurus. And Mars is in a square, basically to everything in Aquarius right now. Mars has big energy, so he is currently in a square to all these planets, and has been and will continue to be, because this movement is just kind of moving on through the next week or so. And one thing that I noticed is that Mars, for the last 48 hours, was transiting my natal Nessus, which I just saw this morning. And it's, good morning, Heather. And Mars transiting my natal Nessus, Nessus is the planet of the buck stops here, that ancestral healing, the generations of trauma, some of which has been visited upon you, has come here in this lifetime for you to heal it. In other words, all the bullshit is for you, not to you. And Mars has activated my Nessus, which totally explains why I took a deep dive these last 2 days into some of my old wounds. And I intended to, and it just reached up with this black arm and pulled me down. And instead of fighting it, I went with it. I went down. And oh, it was so productive. Very excited to be in the midst of this work right now at this new moon. And what else is going on? Black Moon Lilith is in Taurus, and she is in a sextile to Nessus in Pisces. So in the collective, I've just described to you my personal chart. In the collective, you have Mars square everything in Aquarius, and you have Black Moon Lilith singing in close harmony with Nessus. You've got the divine feminine, the goddess before patriarchy, that elemental feminine void, triggering Nessus in Pisces, saying, go deep with me. I will support you in this. The divine feminine before patriarchy is supremely supportive, but she can also be supremely triggering because we are living in our own inner patriarchy. And so she is triggering all these things that we don't talk about, that we've been told is bad. And that's exactly what happened to me. I've been working with this. So Black Moon Lilith and Nessus, for all of us, are saying, go in, dive in, and be reborn. Because the birth canal is a squeeze. And you can't breathe until you get through it. So we are really stretching these metaphors. But that's what it feels like. That's the conversations I've been part of and witness to have been about, I'm squeezed, I'm squeezed, I'm squeezed. I have so much pressure. I feel sick. I've got a headache. I can't get out of my own way. It feels like I'm birthing something. And that's the women, because that's who I usually talk to. I don't know what it feels like for men. For men, maybe it feels like maybe you're triggering Mars and you feel like you need to go do battle with something. You've got to slay something. So the other beautiful aspect is Eris in Aries at 2333 Aries is singing in close harmony with this new moon. That's chaos. So Eris stands for discord and chaos. Now, how do we work with the energy of discord? We can look at it as, this is the last thing I need right now. Look at what it's doing to the country, to the world. But what it means is that when we are growing and when we are shifting and when we cease tolerating what is causing us pain, our struggle and our suffering, it causes chaos within us. It causes discord. The inner discord becomes so uncomfortable and it can become so loud that we want to shut it down. We either want to shut it down or we got to go in there. You know how Mama used to say, don't make me come in there? Well, Eris can create such a noise and a racket inside of your soul that your soul says, all right, I'm coming in. You made me come in here. We're going to do this work right now. We are going to sort this out right now. So this new moon is saying, open up. It's the dark time. It's the tough time. It's the place of shadow. It's the place of the unknown. It is the squeeze. This almost feels like an solar eclipse. It is so intense, so potent. And I think part of it is that Eris. It has that turbulence that an eclipse can feel like, where you're suddenly find yourself going through a class 5 rapid, and there's really nothing you can do but strap on your helmet and hang on until you get through it, and then breathe, take stock and say, all right, where am I now? Where am I going from here? And let me rest. And for some of us, the way to get through this is to rest. Go the fuck to bed and stay there. Get a massage, make love, or sleep. And if you had to be taken down, like you had to physically get sick, catch an infection, a cold, an autoimmune thing, an injury, then yes, you have to go to bed. Hecate. I'll talk a little bit more about her in a minute. So that's going on. Eris is absolutely triggered by this new moon. Nessus is triggered. Everything that happens at the moment of the moon is set vibrating. So it's like these are multiple portals opening. What else have we got going on? Well, we have, look at this. You know, the graphics may or may not mean anything, but it's just a way of understanding how these energies are clustered right here. And this one right here is Pluto trine Algol. Algol is the demonized goddess. Algol is the one, she is the Lilith star. And when Christianity and some of the other monotheistic religions rose up and to dominance in the western half of the world, they said the goddess is the consort of the devil. They demonized her. And Pluto carries that energy too. Pluto is the god of the underworld. Lucifer without the light. And yet he stands for death and transformation. He stands for that which must happen before we can be reborn, before the light, before we can emerge back into the light. Pluto must happen to all of us. And so Algol, you see, my understanding of the demonized goddess is she is the divine feminine returning in a vengeance. She is the fierce, rageful, vengeful goddess, and yet she is only that through the lens of patriarchy. Because in truth, the goddess is the goddess, and she is all. She is love and light, and shadow and darkness, and earth and sky, and the demon and the angel. And she is the darkness. She's everything. And she is pure, unadulterated love. Everything that she carries is the love of creation, through which nothing is made. And right now she is singing a chorus with She is singing a chorus with Pluto over in Capricorn. And Capricorn was full of planets for 2 years. And now there's only 2 left. There's Pluto and Pholus. And well, there's Ixion, but he's not on here. If I opened the Ixion can of worms, we'd be here all day. So there are a few other so-called minor planets, but they just don't come into the story right now. Pluto is there hanging out in the last third of Capricorn, all by his lonesome, but he's singing with 2 other planets. He's singing with Ceres at 26 Pisces. Ceres is nourishment. Ceres is Earth, Mother, Gaia. the one who feeds us. Ceres is a part of the Pluto drama, the Pluto-Hecate-Persephone drama, because Ceres stands for Demeter. She is the one Pluto captured her daughter. Pluto, there in the underworld, wanted a wife of the light. He married the light, this beautiful maiden, the offspring of Gaia, the flower. She was gathering flowers, and he emerged from the earth and captured her and dragged her down to the underworld. And when he did that, Demeter shut down. She raged and was in danger of killing everything on earth. And then she went into a depression and nothing would grow. She created nuclear winter. And as the earth, well, all the other gods said, we're going to die if Demeter doesn't get her shit together. And no one would help her find Persephone. And that was the only thing that was going to bring her back. Hecate came. Hecate came to her and said, I don't know where she is, but the sun knows. He sees everything. And there began the series of events that told Demeter that Persephone was in the underworld with Pluto. And so she beseeches the gods. She goes and gets a trial before the Supreme Court of the gods on Mount Olympus and says, Zeus, bring me back my daughter. All of you guys have colluded and protected accessories before and after the fact. And she demanded her daughter back. And Zeus relented and says, well, if she hasn't eaten anything, she can come back. Well, she had eaten pomegranate seeds, so she comes back for half the year. And the one who takes her back and forth between the world of the light and the underworld is Hecate. Hecate is the one who goes between the underworld and the light. She stands, her other meaning is she stands at the crossroads, those points when we are called to make a decision. Hecate does not tell us which way to go. You leave her offerings, but she still won't tell you. But she does, I believe, give you the information you need to find the answer inside yourself. So Ceres is right here singing in close harmony with the demonized goddess Algol, the divine feminine who is returning with a vengeance. And she will make us pay, because not because she is truly evil, but because of the law of cause and effect. Universal law says we will pay for what we have done to the earth. We will pay for what we do to ourselves. We will pay for what we do to each other. And we're also rewarded in like kind. So it's not all about paying. And there is a cycle. We are part of this cycle of birth and death, the above world and the below world. And right now we are still in the time of the crone, but not for much longer here in the north. So this can feel like a squeeze, because going down into the darkness, having the darkness close in on you until your eyes adjust and you can see how much light is there, how much truth is to be found there, and then see your way in. And when it's time, see your way out and return to the light where you are suddenly blinded until your eyes adjust and you can make out the beauty of the sky and the trees and the flowers and your mother there to greet you, your mother Gaia. So this is the song that is being sung right now at this Aquarian new moon. What else is going on? Well, there's a heck of a lot going on. Another reason people might be feeling a squeeze, Saturn and Chiron are singing in close harmony. Exactly. Saturn in Aquarius and Chiron at 6 Aries. So that which you are healing, that which you've been avoiding, that which you've been refusing to see, Chiron is going to make you look, or at least, once again, if you don't look, you're going to suffer, because not looking creates more suffering. Ask me how I know. And Saturn says, handle this shit, get this handled, and create a framework for it. Make sense of it. And so I like to use the metaphor of the cauldron for Saturn. He holds it all and puts, or maybe it's a pressure cooker. You want it to go fast? Get it going like an Instant Pot. And it'll cook in half the time, or a third of the time, or a fraction of the time. Saturn can do that for you, along with all these other planets and a new moon. So that aspect is going to last for a while, long after this new moon is going. It's going to be going on for, well, certainly the rest of this moon cycle, and between the retrogrades that we'll have, it could happen again. What else is going on? Another big thing that's happening. I think I'm going to close with this part of it. There is a fascinating aspect. Where are we going with this? Black Moon Lilith is square. I talked about how Mars is square everything in Aquarius right now. Black Moon Lilith is square Jupiter and Venus. Jupiter and Venus together. Venus, they have a lot of similar energies. They are both considered benefic planets. We tend to like Venus and Jupiter, although they both have their shadow, their dark side. Jupiter is expansion, abundance, creative energy. He makes things bigger. And I always say, guard your mind when you're working with Jupiter energy, because Jupiter will expand what he comes in contact with. So if you're thinking about trouble and victimhood and problems, Jupiter will expand it. If what you need is some of this deep portal shadow healing, Jupiter will expand your opportunities for that. It may not feel good. And at the same time, if you are wanting more abundance of anything, this is a beautiful aspect, because you have Venus and Jupiter exactly together in this portal. Just like you have Hecate and Pallas Athene. And those two together are protective influences, those two pairs. Okay, Mars squared all things in Aquarius. What happens energy-wise? Well, I've been kind of describing it, and I will answer that more directly in a moment. Thanks for the question. So thinking about this. This has sounded really intense and dire, and you've already felt it. Well, know this, that this afternoon, as soon as the moon moves past the sun, the pressure is going to be let off. So it's going to feel a little easier. You'll be able to breathe. You might still be in the middle of it. There'll be mop up to do. It might last a moon cycle. It might last all year, but you'll be able to breathe. And breathing makes things easier. But you've also got Hecate guiding you. And she is with Pallas Athene, and Pallas Athene is the intellect, mental strength, mental health. She is strategy and being able to see clarity with your mind in its highest, most functional state. And so she's bringing all this clarity. How this has looked for me, early on, if you didn't hear it at the beginning, I talked about how Mars has been transiting my Nessus. And so when we are going down, it's our mind that's carrying us down. Our mind follows the rabbit hole and says, you know, it gets all the, what is it, the itty bitty shitty committee? That's your mind. That's your mind saying, you know, it's believing crap that is A, not true, and B, doesn't serve you. And yet you construct your reality out of it because that's what we do. And so your mind starts down that rope and you go all the way down. Well, you've got Hecate with you, and she is with Pallas Athene saying, let's come down here and get your head on straight. Let's look at this stuff. Is it true? Is it accurate thinking? What would happen if you chose a different belief? In other words, basic mindset work 101. What if you believe the opposite? Well, what if it were possible that the opposite were true? That all of the good things were true instead, all of the strong and beautiful and vital and powerful thoughts and beliefs were true instead? What if Venus, the goddess of love, sex, sensuality, abundance, wealth, the bright and shining one, what if everything that she stands for were true inside yourself? What if she shone through you and her companion, the second brightest of the planets in the sky, Jupiter? What if the two of them are together and we can't see them right now because they are too close to the sun? They are lost in sunlight, which is fine. They are merging with the sun right now. They are merging. That there's something important about this collective here of merging with the collective energy that is represented by Aquarius, and then moving on, Venus and the sun are going to move together into Pisces, which is again more of the collective, but the deep, unconscious, spiritual, oceanic, galactic collective. So there's more of this energy coming through, and it's going from all of us here into the cosmic, all of us, the cosmic here. So we are getting set up for that with this new moon and with this Venus-Jupiter conjunction. So you can say that while I'm down here, gestating, breaking apart, a seed under the soil, germinating and opening up, dying, all those metaphors, I contain Venus and Jupiter. All that I desire, all that I hope for, all that I am here to accomplish that I don't even remember I'm part of is here. So, Mars square all of that. And the energy is activation. In this case, the energy of Mars, masculine energy, fiery energy, decisive energy. So it's interesting because Mars is sextile Neptune, which means Mars is reaching into that unconscious soup that is Neptune. which means it's an opportunity for you to use that energy and go into your unconscious mind and let things bubble to the top. And it can feel like a smelly, boggy swamp with, gas bubbling up, like some kind of one of those muddy things at Yellowstone that burps sulfur, it can feel like that. That's all right, because that's what we're here for, to clear that stuff out. And then square all that stuff. That's the work. So that Neptune unconscious energy is the way into that square to begin to dissolve that lock. And Mars can go after it then with his decisive male energy, his scalpel, his sword, his spear, whatever weapon he might be carrying. And then Neptune in Pisces is opposite Vesta. And if you've been following my astrology for the past 2 years, you know I've been talking a lot about Vesta, following her movements very closely. And right now, Vesta has been 9 months, she's in a 9-month sojourn in her home sign of Virgo. The High Priestess is in the sign of the Priestess. And she is activating that priestess energy in all of us, which is why I'm doing the Womb Priestess initiation now. She's calling that forth in me, and she's calling it forth in everyone on the planet. And right now she's opposite Neptune. And Neptune is hanging out right here. Vesta is here. And she's got Mars. She is sending Mars his instructions right now. The Priestess, and she's another one of these. The Priestess is the sacred spiritual go-between. She helps the people access their higher levels of consciousness, their divine, their relationship to divine, their relationship to self. And she is also firmly grounded in the earth. Virgo is not Virgo for nothing, an earth sign. She manages the resources and the material abundance of the temple, the self, the body, the soul, your life. So she, oh my God, she's powerful. The more time I spend with her, the more powerful she is. And right now, when you see something like a ton of activity, one sign opposite, this is like half the sky, half the wheel. Everything's going on, and one planet is opposite. That actually serves to amplify the strength of that planet, because she is holding all of that energy in opposition, in trines, she is anchoring it and making it sacred. And so she's not just one little planet out there across from all of it. She is balancing all of it. How big do you need to be energetically to balance all of this that I just spent half an hour describing to you? So the other thing you want to explore is, where is your personal Vesta in your natal chart? And where is Vesta in Virgo right now? What part of your chart is she activating? If you don't know, hit me up for a Divine Feminine astrology reading. People love these readings. They pay a premium price to get this deep healing session with the Divine Feminine. And you can start making sense of this and make your journey through this portal that 2021 is turning out to be. Make sense of 2020. Everything that's happening right now got laid down and set up in 2020. This is a long game we are playing here in this lifetime. So That is the new moon Divine Feminine Astrology reading. Go pour yourself another cup of coffee or tea, if depending on where you live. And we've got about 4 hours until the actual moment of the new moon. So if you've got some time to carve out with a journal and let yourself go down the rabbit hole, see what you can dig up. And then as the moon shifts this afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern time, whatever time it is in your world, let it go. Send it off. Hand it off. Get help from the divine by sending it up into the cosmos. And then breathe. Release. Open. Receive. Expand. That's what we do with it. Thank you so much. It's my joy to be with you, and I will see you again next time.